Alright, so welcome back, guys. Yes, I know this is not the CMD, but I actually wanted to show you something that I've been talking about how programs can, I mean, GUIs can run by being able to access the terminal. Now, a lot of programs are able to kind of hide what they do, how they access the terminal, but I don't know, maybe Blender did it intentionally. Blender is basically a tool for 3D, 2D animation software, developing models and blah 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 blah. So basically I'll just close this now and you would see okay, let me just save Bunny Monkey here. This is just a tutorial I'm following. So okay, yeah, you see this, you see what just popped up now? That was the blender shell. That was how it was accessing the whole thing. So let me just open it up quickly for you guys once again so that you can just see what I'm talking about. So you see it loads up a shell quickly. So basically it's running command line commands to basically run this whole thing, and that's what every GUI does. Every GUI does has a way of accessing the command line, so it's very important that you know it. So that's basically it. So let me see if I don't know if Blender can actually run from here. So I'll be talking about this part basically in the video today, so I just wanted to show you that quickly. So let's see. Okay, Blender is not operable basically because I've not added it to part. There's no need, I have it over here, so I can just run it quickly. So basically the defragmentation analysis that we were running, so basically this is what it brought up. So now it said invoking analysis, like we saw, completely is completed successfully. Now the post defragmentation report. So I have volume information, I have the size, the free space, so I have about 204 gig, total fragmented space 9%, largest free space 2.14. These are just basic informations that you throw around and stuff like that. Now the 5 fragments larger than 64 MB are not included in the fragmentation statistics, so you do not need to so basically most times follow this unless you have a very unquestionable source that tells you to actually fragment it. So if you fragment and the system tells you not to, you could cause a crash. I've actually done something like that before, and then the whole system just crashed. I was in a way of let it work faster, but then I just crashed the whole thing. So diskpart. Now diskpart, along with some other system utilities, would be able to open up a new terminal, but diskpart can do that. Some other ones just kind of like, instead of opening a new, there's a difference between opening a new command line and opening a new command line window. So basically opening a new window would be opening this one anew, but opening a new one will basically mean just starting a new instance within this window. So diskpart actually opens a new window, I believe. Yes, it opens a new window. So basically now I can run diskpart commands over here. So now I'm just waiting on it to just write diskpart and then put the greater than sign. Alright, so now I can run commands. So now what's diskpart useful for? Well, okay, let's just do this. So basically now it shows me every command that I can run on diskpart. Now diskpart is an extended higher version of what's it called, the CHK DSK that I showed you guys the other time. Now how this is useful is that you can basically use it to fix almost any drive. Now this does not mean that it would work every time, but it basically works well. A lot of times when I don't know if you guys have come in contact with maybe VirtualBox, or maybe you want to dual boot a system. So you want to have Windows and a Linux distribution on your system, particularly Kali. Everybody wants Kali. Some people want Ubuntu, some people want Debian. But basically, what you would need is basically that you could use diskpart to create a bootable disk, a bootable USB, or you have other tools like I think Reaper, PowerSO, and the likes. But yeah, you can use diskpart for that, number one. Number two, you can use diskpart to prepare the disk that you'll be booting with another tool. You can use diskpart to clear the disk. You can use diskpart to fix a corrupted disk. So you see, add blah 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 blah. There's just a lot of stuff here, and what I've actually used diskpart for the most is all those things that I've spoken about. But apart from that, what I use diskpart for the most is fixing a disk. Like I said in the last video, I don't have a corrupted disk. I had a number of them, but I think my sister just lost them or something like that. So basically, there's just a bunch of things that you can use this for. And then on diskpart, basically what you do is there's a list of commands that you can just do to fix something. So basically you would first run something like, maybe you could check the file system. So there's a command, file systems, something like that. So there's no volume selected. So what you have to do first is select maybe C, which is not advisable because you do not want to do some kind of shit on that. So basically now the select command has some options. It has the disk partition. So it's basically as though you are making a new CMD that just does its own particular things. So partition, volume, vdisk. So we can select disk C. The disk certified is not valid. Okay, I think it has some built-in function against picking your local disks on your systems, but you should be able to pick this. You would be able to pick disks that are not on your system. So once you pick it, first thing you have to do is select. So you select the disk, then you could check the file system by running file systems. Sorry about that. So file systems on. So since it's already selected, then you can clear the disk using this. Then you can clear partitions on the disk, partitions, or just select a partition. You can see from here that we can select partition. So you select the partition, then you can format a disk. So you put format, it formats the disk completely, and then you put FS, that's file system, and then you can specify the file system. So basically you have to know the file system for the particular device you are trying to help. So FAT32 or NTFS. So there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of file systems, but the only ones I know are FAT32 and NTFS. So, or is it NFTS? I can't really remember. So that's basically it. So it's really useful, other than some enterprise software, some things that you just have to go and get with some money again. It's very useful. You see, once you can learn some stuff, I know a lot of people would like to substitute money for spending time on stuff, but it's quite important. The executed commands are no longer using it. It's not really that necessary anymore, since we're just putting in some commands here and there that are not specific to certain things. That we're just trying to show ourselves some stuff. So basically we can do some various things. There's just a lot of things that we can do. You can reduce the size of the selected volume, blah 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 blah. So there's just some basic stuff all around there. It's not really that big a deal. Import a disk group, GPT. So that's just speaking about legacy systems by which you can open something. So that's basically all. So you can delete stuff, but you have to be careful with this. You can see the attach function. You can attach a virtual disk file on it, and so basically stuff like that. So that's just all about that. It's really easy stuff, really simple stuff. So you remember that I showed you guys about, so this is the new window that I open. Let's just close that. So that's basically all about diskpart. Since we won't be going deep into it, I just wanted to show you guys. A lot of you will never use it, some of you will. Well, it's a very useful tool. So remember I showed you how Blender opens up and then it shows that. So that's basically all about that. So in the coming video, I think the next one or the one after the next, we'll be talking about what's that exactly? We'll be talking about okay, in the next video we'll be talking about networking with CMD, but in the ones to come we'll be talking about how you can add almost any program to the path. There are some of them that don't have that, and we'll explain when we get to that particular module and explain why we can't do that. So we add them to path. We explain about system and user variables before we enter adding them to parts. So we'll be going through installing nmap. Nmap is just a system reconnaissance web reconnaissance tool and stuff like that. So that's basically all for this. I hope you enjoyed it. Really sorry that I didn't go in depth concerning diskpart, but you can find a host of resources, that free resources, anywhere on the net that can just tell you particular things. If we wanted to cover everything or even 1/4 of what diskpart could do, so we just basically covered it, using it to solve problems of not being able to use a particular disk again, and you want to be able to use it. Is corrupted, the file system is corrupted, like I had in a particular case in which I put my SD card, I put it inside a MP3 and MP3, so it didn't work. They said the file system was corrupted on Android, and then I put it on my system. It said the file system was still corrupted, and I started using diskpart, even though I didn't kind of make a headway because I wasn't quite vast with it at that point, and then I already did some things. I already spoiled it and made it write protected. So that's one thing you have to be careful of when you have problems. Don't just jump at the first solution. Just try to think it out, research, and try to see what to do. Don't just start pressing buttons and just hoping that it will get better and stuff like that. Just try to use your discretion and stuff like that. Alright, so that's basically all that we have about it today. I'll be talking about some other things later, networking and the likes that I've spoken about. So it's going to be wonderful. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for watching. See you later.